What is up, guys? How we all doing? A little bit better than last stream, huh? A little bit better than last stream. Let me know if you can hear me, if the audio's okay, video's okay. I hope everyone's having a good Sunday. Fantastic Sunday. What's up, Treeborn Frog? What's up, Van Ripoff? Jack Hoff, how you doing, bro? You gooning, my friend? What's up, Ulsa? Byron Bay, hell yeah, bro. Yeah, that was a dope song. I'm not gonna lie. What up, Derek? Ethereum Wallet, quite the name. Sophian, I can't pronounce your name. A-O-X-O-T. I have no idea. Jesse, what up? Matt, Mike, what's up? Sida, love you too, bro. Toonskill, yo. ZMI. Awesome. Listen, guys, hell yeah, welcome. Third stream of the week, right? I told you I was going to do it, and what I do, I did it. You know what I mean? Who else is doing it like me and keeping up with their promises that they make to strangers on the internet for free? Nobody other than your boy Maine. Does Jane still tune in? I don't know. I haven't seen her in a while. I haven't seen Jane in a while. What up, Lolly, Robert, Daniel? Smooth, I love you too, bro. Parker Duncan, let's go. It's not Monday where I live. So clearly you don't know me. You don't know me. What's up? What's up? Cool. What's up, JP Marine? How you doing, G? Cool world, yeah. All right, guys, so what are we thinking? You know, like first what I want to say is like I'd appreciate if the powers that be, whether that's Trump himself or the people around Trump or whoever is making these decisions, I would appreciate if they stopped doing this stuff on Sunday and Saturday, the weekend. Like, I know crypto, we're 24/7, you know? I know we're 24/7, but like, it's the weekend, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to have one of the biggest candles ever. Okay, this is literally from bottom to top an $8,000 candle, 10% move. Like Sunday, I woke up, I slept in a little. It's Sunday, shoot me. So I'm already on the West Coast, right? So I'm 3 hours behind the East Coast. I don't know what's going on over there in Mar-a-Lago. I wake up and the market, when I went to bed, we were at like 84, 85. I woke up, we're at 94. I'm like, is this a fever dream? You know when you like, you know when you haven't gone on your phone or your computer in a while and like an old price is still showing and then it refreshes? I thought it was a glitch because I'm like, bro, like we just nuked. Things are going to take a little bit of time, you know, consolidate. I was expecting a bounce, right? We talked about the bounce. We talked about the SFP. We talked about a move back towards the 90s, 92, 93. This is exactly what we talked about happening. This is exactly what we talked about happening in our last stream. I said, listen, this thing is broken down here. We got a nice move. I'm expecting a move back up to the 90s. I nibbled a little spot at like 82, but I thought it might take a minute. You know, I thought, okay, maybe we're going to do some kind of range here, right? Like we're going to range, maybe take another low, and then get that move, and then we see if it's a bearish retest or not. I didn't think it was going to happen on a Sunday, first thing in the morning, the Lord's Day, you know? I'm trying to chill, hang out with my dog, my fiance. I want to get my suit fitted, And they're like, no, you need to sit at your computer all day and make decisions that might affect future generations of your family. That's what you're doing today. You're not hanging out playing video games. You're not going to the park for a nice stroll. You're going to sit here and you're going to have to decide right the fuck now whether or not it's a bull market and that was it. That was the low. Or we're bearish. And this is exactly where a lower high would form. Basically, right? From here to here, pull your fib. This is bang on where the lower high should form if we're going to continue selling lower. What do you guys think, man? Like, what are you guys thinking? What is your gut telling you? Are you guys long? Are you guys short? Like, what are you guys doing? Nick thinks it's the lower high. Did that guy from last stream allow me to stream? I don't know what happened to him, bro. Here's what's crazy. That guy's going to think about me for days and weeks, just rent-free. I'm in that guy's head. He sees me post. He's going to go, that guy, that trader mean. I'm so angry. I'll never think about him again. Insignificant. All right, let's see. What are you guys saying here? Bitcoin in the GameStop wallet? I have no idea. Zoran thinks 55K from here. Okay. I mean, anything's possible, man. If this ends up being a lower high and we fully retrace this move, it probably gets pretty ugly. The timing makes it so tough. I agree. I much would have rather a base form. Like, to me, this is no longer really the comparison, really, because like here, like we had a base form. This gave us the juice to make another run at the highs. That was your accumulation, right? That's not happened here. So now it's like, okay, well, are we doing like this? Like, is this what we're doing here? And we're like, are we this? Is this it? Is this where we're at? Right? Break below the range low, big wick, retest. Like, is that going to be it? I don't know. But the original, idea of maybe we get some sort of consolidation before the next move, I don't know. Right? The other thing you have to consider here, guys, is like, Trump has come out and said this, right? First of all, I would have much rather Trump had just said Bitcoin. I think just saying that it is a Bitcoin strategic reserve or crypto reserve, right? It's crypto reserve because he fucking included a bunch of other shit in there. But he went into specific shit coins. He named them Cardano, XRP, right? Sol. ETH, Bitcoin. Like, I much would have preferred if it was just Bitcoin strategic reserve, because to me, a bullish Bitcoin is good for everything. Now he's just, kind of picking specific coins. It's like, well, I don't know. I mean, these are top 10 coins, I guess, but I don't like it as much that it's a bunch of other coins. I much would have preferred it just been Bitcoin. That seems to make the most sense for me. The next question is, can he even accomplish what he's saying? So he's said that he wants to do this, or he's going to do it, but I imagine he needs to get Congress on board. Like, where's the money come from to spend on this? Who's got to approve that? Tag says he longed LTC. Jesse says he likes the weekly close. J Buck says the narrative changed. Long balls. Ross says that's the bottom. 6CZR1 says we are bearish. It's Mercury. Mercury's in Gatorade. So Mercury is in Gatorade. Sam waiting till Monday market open. Not a bad idea. Crypto investor says the party's just getting sharded. Interesting. King Mappo 50% cash. So interesting. Yeah, I mean, this could be, Wyckoff accumulation. So like, let's look at this thing from the charts, right? So if we go to the higher time frames, right? The yearly, right? What's the level that matters here on the yearly? The yearly open. Okay? So that's a key level that we're going to want to watch. It's a very key high time frame level. Because if we're going to have a bullish year, we want to have the low of the year put in early, and we want to trade above the yearly open. So on terms of the 12-month chart, really the only level I think that matters here is the yearly open. You could argue that, this is a key level as well, but this is like, we don't even want to talk about coming down here. We don't even want to talk about that, okay? Now, what levels matter on the monthly? Right, like what levels matter down here? To me, the yearly open and monthly SR, right? It's the same level because this is the low there. They're the close of that candle and the open of this candle. And to me, those are the most important levels kind of within current price action. We then have the monthly open here that I think is relevant. So you have your February monthly open. And then you have these old highs here, right? Which is your March monthly open or monthly close, excuse me. But it would be your, April monthly open. Okay. Obviously of 2024. I should add that. So from a yearly chart down to a monthly chart, like these are our key levels now. Let's pretend this one doesn't exist, because if we go down there, hell. I think a lot of us were expecting, rightly so, me included, a retest of this zone. So is this a front run, or are we going to, get another move down? But just looking at this now, and if we go down to the weekly, I mean, that is we saved above that yearly open level. So we weekly wicked all the way down. Remember, I had this market structure break level here? And I was like, hey, if we lose this, it's an MSB. That's bad. Well, we swept that. We swept this. And we closed above the weekly the yearly open. So like this to me is a very bullish weekly candle. Like you can't deny that. Right? You can't deny that this is a bullish kind of weekly candle. We did, however, lose monthly support. So like February, that's a bearish monthly candle. And you can make an argument that this is, a bearish retest occurring right now. So that's really the question, right? You go down to the 3-day. The 3-day had the structure break. And it had a bearish retest. Like this is exactly where this should form a lower high. So right now, right, to me, the monthly lost support. It lost its support. Weekly, I think the SFP is bullish. And it held the yearly open. Right? But the 3-day, it's a bearish market structure break and a bearish retest. So there's a lot of mixed signals here, which makes this very tricky. It makes this very tricky. Ideally, at this point, like I think you need more price action to make a decision of whether or not that this is a bearish retest or we're going to see continuation higher. But just based on what I've drawn up here, going all the way down now to one of our lower time frames for execution, I think for two reasons. One, I want to be bullish. Like, I want prices to go up. When I woke up today, all my spot bags were worth more than they were 2 days ago. So naturally, I want it to go up. But two, based on that weekly candle and the idea of, potentially Trump actually being able to get this done, I want to be a bull. So I think if we do get some sort of retrace, because regardless, this is resistance. And we're either going to do this or we don't have to pull back all the way there. Or this is fucking lower high and this is a bearish retest and we're going to come back down to here. Regardless, I'm willing, I think, to take a long attempt on any sort of retrace. So if we come back on the 3-day chart here, on the 12-hour chart, if this ends up being resistance, maybe we take another move up and then we get a pullback, I think I would bid this. You've got the monthly open there. You've got the 12-hour order block, and this is a weekly SFP. So it's a weekly H12 setup. I think you have to take it if it's given. And then you literally long here, stop here, and you target a new all-time high. That's the trade, right? Because if it comes all the way back down here and it does not fucking send, this is going to go way lower anyway. So I'm willing to take the fucking stab here. And if you want better risk reward than this, you could tighten up the stop probably to here, or you could use a lower time frame entry, go down to the H4 or something and just find a more refined entry once we actually get there. But if this is really bullish, I don't think we should even pull back this far, to be honest with you. But if we do, I'm willing to fucking throw the dart. I'm willing to throw the dart because the risk reward is good. The weekly H12 setup is there. And I'm willing to fucking give it a rip. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But what we can't lose sight of and what we talked about in the last video, right? What we talked about in the last video is we have to be objective. And I talked about if we get this weekly break in structure, we've got to be prepared to sell on a bounce. As much as and this is exactly what I talked about last video is what's happening right now. I said if we are bearish and we get the bounce, we cannot get caught up and sucked up into the bullishness because everything went up a bunch and we could see stuff bump 10, 20, 30% on the way up only for it to make a lower high. And that's exactly what's happening now. But the reason it's so hard, if we would have closed the weekly, bearishly, like I had anticipated. So if we would have closed the weekly like this and then bounced up, it's all day a sell. And the 3-day did close bearishly, and now it's bouncing up. So, the problem is we have this fucking weekly candle with this huge wick, and it's frustrating because it's well, is this thing saved now? The 3-day, to me, clear as day, this is a bearish retest. It is. This is a bearish retest for me on the 3-day chart. Right there, that broke structure. This is where you short. And the expectation is another leg lower. The weekly's fucking me up. And so I'm a little bit torn. I don't really know what to do. I'm a little bit torn. It's like this, right? Here, we, broke structure, bounced, made a lower low, but kind of held it with the wick and then higher low. So this setup that I had drawn out here, where it comes and retests that H12 OB, that's kind of like this. It's the same setup here. So if you go down to the 12-hour here, right? You go back here. So this, getting a retest, and then trading higher is no different to me than basically, what we saw here. It's like an over-under kind of retest of the move and then end up trading higher. So I don't know, guys. I wish I could just look at you here and be like, this is the right call, in my opinion. I'm very clear on what my bias is, but I'm a little bit torn. And it's frustrating because I was expecting the bounce, and my expectation was weekly structure break, short the retest. but we've got this annoying weekly wick, possibly the largest wick I've ever seen on Bitcoin on the weekly. Like, is it bigger than this one? I don't know. It must be. This could be the biggest weekly wick I've ever seen. And it's like, is this a bearish retest or has this been a giga trap and we're about to fucking send? What I do know with some certainty is if we clear this, right, if we trade above here, then to me, the next target is like 150 grand. But this is a really sticky spot because this is either the picture perfect bearish retest, get out of jail free. If you were underwater last week and now you're above water briefly, get the fuck out while you can. Or, you know, is this just a big old fucking trap, dude? Is this just a big old range low trap and we're back? I really don't know. I'm torn. The 3 days telling me bearish retest. The weekly is telling me maybe not. But what I'm going to do, because I'm expecting us to find some resistance here, and we already are, right? We're rejecting right now, is if we come back here, I'll attempt a long. I'll attempt one. And we'll see. So I wish I had just like the answer. I wish I had the answer every time because then I'd be a billionaire. But I'm willing to take the gamble here. But in terms of like, what do I believe is realistically the next move? I don't know, man. It's tricky. The weekly is really sussing me out here. 3 days, like all day, this is a short. So, I don't know. I'm having a real tough time. Like, what's frustrating, right, is because this happened on the weekend, it's like, okay, well, liquidity is just lower. There's less liquidity on the weekend. It's easier to move the market. This is a news-driven move. So, you know, like, what is to say that this isn't just, you know, bullish fucking, or just a fucking bullshit, thin, inefficient weekly move, a weekend move, and this thing is just going to fucking, you know, eat shit right back. Would suck. If this fully retraces, that sucks. But this is trading. Like, you got to make a bet here. Basically, what are you thinking? Because if you think this is a bearish retest, this is a great opportunity to hedge, de-risk, take some profits, get out a little bit above water. And if you think this was a big trap, well then, buy any dips that we get from here. We have the crypto summit on March 7th, right? So today's the 3rd. So on Friday, we have the crypto summit. David Sachs retweeted Trump's tweet basically saying, hey, this is just the beginning. We've got more to come. We've got more to come at the summit. What could it mean? Is it to sell the news? Right? Another really interesting thought that I saw, right, is this is the ETF, remember? So this was the actual announcement of the ETF was like way back here. The announcement of the ETF was like 25K, and then we ripped huge, right? And then this was the actual ETF go live date. It was a bit of a sell the news event, and then we fucking ripped it huge, right? Similarly, this was Trump winning the election, right? And then Trump actually taking office. Bit of a sell the news. And it's like, okay, well, I wonder if this is like, you know, the announcement of the strategic reserve is like a bit of a sell the news, but then it actually prices in bullishly, and then when it actually gets implemented, you know, that's when it, you know, pulls back. So I don't know, man. I wish I had a better read right now. I really do. The reason it took me so long to get the stream to go live is I've been staring at the charts trying to figure out like what I think. because I like to have one thing I always like to do for you guys in these streams is I like to have some clear, actionable ideas. Whether or not you decide to do what I do, obviously, is totally up to you, as it should be. You shouldn't be blindly following anyone, especially not me. However, I like to have some kind of, idea of what I think the market is going to do, and then I share that with you. And I say, hey, if this happens, we do this, and this happens, we do this, and blah, 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 blah. But, yeah, man, I don't know. 3 days telling me get the fuck out. Look at this. SFP, right? There's your 3-day breaker. 3-day raid candle. Structure break right there. I don't know, bro. I'm really torn. I have not. So I bought some spot, as you guys remember, if you are in the Telegram. If you're in my Telegram, right? And guys, this is completely free. The link's in the description. If you're not in here already and you're the problem with Twitter now is I shitpost a lot because it's fun, and Twitter's not nearly as cool as it used to be. So if you want less shitposting and just kind of more raw market thoughts, Telegram's a really good place for that. So link's in the description. I also tweeted out the link earlier today. So in my opinion, low 80Ks, anything sub 80Ks, probably a good buy, whether it's for a new all-time high or just a bounce up towards 90s. Okay? I'd love a bounce to short, but I don't think you need to rush. I'm spot buying into the 70s. Turns out you did need to rush. But so I got some spot fills, but I'm not selling them yet. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I really don't. So I wish I had a better answer. So if we look at ETH muted reaction comparatively, didn't go up as much initially because it was left out of the original tweet. Solana, right? Look at the weekly candle on Solana, man. Remember what I said about this monthly box, dude? Respected the mid-range. Respected the mid-range. So, all of these have big-ass moves, and it's okay, well, do we buy these retests? Do we buy all of these retests across the board? Sweep, move up, break structure, I feel like that's what you got to do. You got to assume it's bullish, buy the dip. Otherwise, this is short, get the fuck out. Because if it's not bullish and all of these moves fully retrace, we're going way lower and it's going to be painful for much longer. If this does this, we're going down into the fucking 60s and shit, and it's going to be a fucking nightmare. It's going to be horrible. So I kind of want to think that he saved it, but I just don't know, man. So if we look at stocks, they're not really reacting. So we didn't break structure on the weekly yet. We came all the way down here, but we didn't break structure on the weekly. We kept it. So if you look back in time here, when we break structure on the weekly in equities, usually bad things happen, right? Big old sell-offs happen. So we did not break weekly structure yet, but this is not necessarily a bullish chart at this very moment. We kind of got to see. Similarly, the 3-day did break. So I think waiting for U.S. Open's interesting. Also, if you look at the Bitcoin CME, I always forget what the fucking CME chart is. What is the fucking CME? Isn't it this? Yeah. We've now got a huge gap. So we filled this, right? Filled that. Now we've got a massive gap. This is the biggest CME gap ever, I think. So we've got a huge gap here on the CME now. where it's like, okay, well, this lines up with some sort of retest, you know, potentially filling some of this. Like, this is a $10,000 gap. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bid the retest if we get it, because the alternative is this is a bearish retest and we're fucked. But I'm really, really torn because my strategy or my plan from last week was to short the bounce. And we got the bounce, and I didn't short it because the weekly closed like insanely bullish. But in theory, like, you can have it's hard to find an example of a wick that's just this big. But like, you can have a big bullish wick and like price can still go down, right? So like, where's an example of this? Kind of like here, like, it's not a perfect example, but like, you'd think based on this wick that it was about to send higher and it ended up just rolling over. You know what I mean? So just because we've had this bullish weekly wick, it doesn't mean that we can't go down. Like, this can fucking retrace this wick. So I don't know, guys. It's difficult. So I wasn't expecting this bounce this quick. I was expecting it, as you guys saw on Telegram and you know from last stream 2 days ago. But I just don't know. I don't know if this is like the primo short spot, and that's what we talked about last week, and we just need to blindly take it. It's a tricky one because of that weekly candle. I think the yearly open is a very important level, right? The weekly open is a very important level here. The yearly open, excuse me, and it's acting as resistance right now. So you can see like this has clearly been a key level of support, and this is kind of our first real test from the underside. So let's check the chat, and then I'll look at some other coins if you guys want. But yeah, the dudes do, bro. You got wrecked, LMAO. Lama, bro's doing TA when he was saying STU. Be bear stuff. This guy's so angry he can barely type. He's just fucking fuming on his keyboard right now. Cheeto dust on his fingers, typing furiously as fast as possible. Nobody cares what you think, bro. Look at the name of the channel. Trader Main. People are here to listen to me, not the fucking retards like you. It did this on a white swan kind of news event. Yeah, I mean, you could argue that this is a white swan for sure. What's the relationship between news and PA? Seems like anytime there's news, PA showed it first. Also, you're the realist. Thanks, bro. I generally look primarily for PA. Like, news, the thing is, right, is everyone wants to have this, it's like the chicken egg argument, right? Like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? But here's the thing. One thing you can look at and you can make decisions based on, and that's the price action. The news you have no control over. At the end of the day, you can't control what price is going to do, but based on the chart, you can say, okay, well, I want to enter here because I believe this to be support, and I want to put my stop here because that's where my idea is wrong. And if it happens to do this, and right when this occurred, there was some bullish news, you know, people will say, oh, well, the news told the story, right? It was priced, or it went up because of the news. Other people will say it went up because it was support. At the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter. The only thing you can control is making your decisions based on the chart. Like, you could have longed immediately when this news came out, for sure. But like, you're not in control of what the news is going to be. At least when you use price action, that's something that you have some ability to use to make decisions. Like, when you're ever making a decision based on the news, it's reactive, right? Whereas price action, you can be proactive. I'll look at the dollar. The quant says long only. You might be right, bro. You might be right. If 3-day bearish fair value gaps flipped, we're bullish. Okay, so what he's talking about, oops, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to do this, is this. This is the bearish fair value gap on the 3-day. It's fucking ginormous. So he's saying if we flip this, we're bullish. Yeah, I do share my my strategy in the Haven. Thanks, Fresher Prince. I appreciate you. You're the GOAT, bro. Jared, what material does a necklace have to be made of to fit around the neck? Vibranium. Probably vibranium. It's the only thing. I went to get my fucking tux for my wedding, and she was like having so much trouble trying to figure out which collar would fit around my neck. It was kind of funny. Looks like a bearish retest. I mean, listen, if it looks like a bearish retest, if it smells like a bearish retest, it might just be a bearish retest. You could be right, AZ. We don't know, right? Yeah, I don't. Yeah. So to AZ's point, right? Like it doesn't. We don't know the other thing, right, guys? And this is super common. Is like we don't know what any of this fucking means, right? Like it's very nice to hear the idea of a crypto strategic reserve, but we have no details on if, when, or how they'll actually buy Bitcoin or any crypto at all, right? Like, so the idea that we're having some crypto strategic reserve, that doesn't just mean that they're going to start buying billions of dollars of Bitcoin necessarily. We don't know. Now, if on Friday they come out and they say the USA is going to buy X number of Bitcoin and whatever else every single month, that completely changes everything, right? But until then, we have no idea what this actually entails. We have no idea what it actually entails. It could very simply be, that they're going to hold on to crypto that they've confiscated, right? Or they're going to empower, like maybe they take some small marginal positions and stuff, but it doesn't necessarily mean that like, oh my God, the US government's going to be buying billions of dollars of Bitcoin. Like, where's that money coming from? What are they going to buy? When are they going to buy? How much are they going to buy? We don't know any of that is even true. What up, Floppin' Groiper? How you doing, bro? What do you think, Groper? Groper? I moved Floppin' Groper. I don't know. Is that a fish or something? But what do you think, bro? What do you think's going to happen here? Saw Blunch post bearish on the BTCD. Do we think that alt season is right around the corner? So yeah, I saw Blunt said that this is finally looking bearish on the high time frame. So you have, a monthly SFP. So notice how I have another monthly SFP on here marked out. So we've had this before, right? Like it's not like this is the first time this is put in a monthly SFP. This could still just charge right up. But we have a monthly SFP here. But the weekly and stuff, it's still, we haven't seen any sort of structure break. So the only thing I can see here, I mean, this ended up just being a big fucking ascending triangle kind of deal here, whereas this does kind of look a little bit more bearish. I imagine if you look at the RSI, we probably have a bearish divergence here, if I had to guess, where we didn't have one here. So let's see. So yeah, here we made lower highs and higher highs. So we did have a bearish divergence here as well, I guess, kind of. Right? But again, here we have, a bear div. So, but this is the exact same signal. Monthly SFP plus bear div, and it went higher. Monthly SFP plus bear div. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to go down now, but it's something to pay attention to. Something to pay attention to for sure. I mean, listen, if this thing rolls over, that's good for altcoins, but yo, bro, I entered some shorts. It's far from yesterday's and last week's anchored VWAPs. Yeah, so VWAPs aren't something I use. But yeah, I mean, listen, this is like a fucking gap. Like at the very least, this pulls back a little. Like it pulls back a little. It's not just going to do this and then go, straight to all-time high from here. It's going to have some sort of consolidation or pullback, which is just commonplace in these, thin moves. I think the most bullish price action is something similar to like this. So if you do the ghost bar, is it this? No. No. Bars pattern. Like so this. Right? It's like, see how that kind of lines up nicely with that retest of there? So, I mean, some sort of pullback I think is expected, but we'll see. We'll see. I think the 90K level is also a very interesting level because it's got like psychological significance, 90K, and it also kind of is the floor. So if you get rid of all this bullshit here, you kind of have this floor here, right? That's similar to this floor, like the 60K floor, right? So to me, it's an interesting zone to watch here because this has basically been the support floor, and we nuked it. And now we reclaimed it. So if this holds a retest, I think that's something that's interesting as well. So there's just I'm getting like some counteracting signals here on the high time frame in terms of what this means. That being said, this is exactly where it should reject from. So the fact that we're seeing a bit of a pullback here, completely expected. What the bulls want to see is a reclaim of the yearly open, right? They want to get back above the yearly open because if we stay below the yearly open, there's a chance that we go lower before reclaiming, right? Or we stay below it and the high of the year could already be in, right? That would be the awful case scenario. But I think if you had some ill-advised longs, if you took some stupid longs here, right before this dump, or you had some bags that you were hoping to get out of and you get gifted a fucking 10% bounce and some alts went up 30, 40, 50%, not a bad time, not a bad option to, get some chips off the table and fucking reassess, right? Remember, you can always buy back. If this is going to go to new all-time highs, there's going to be time to buy back. So if you got wrecked and you get an opportunity like this to maybe reduce some of that loss, not a horrible idea. Did that guy who was talking shit leave already? Thanks, Fuzzy Man 410. Like, they come in, they say something retarded. I tell them that they're retarded, and then they run away. I didn't even ban them. KBM and Arthur are both short. Well, listen, Keyboard Monkey is my friend, but he's always bearish. He's been shorting Bitcoin, and he's been bearish on Bitcoin fucking from when it got created, I'm pretty sure. But he was bearish all through here and all through here, and eventually he'll be right. But what people don't realize about Keyboard Monkey is he is trading on the super low time frame. He's trading massive size where like a $500 move can mean tons of fucking money. He's not like swing trading. So I think what part of why he gets a bad rap is he'll be bullish and then bearish and then bullish and then bearish. And people are like, oh, he was max bear and now he's like max short, or max bull. But like if price does this, like that's the trade he takes, even if it goes back up after. Like he's just looking for those little moves. But occasionally he'll nail the swing too. And he could be right. Like this is a bearish retest for all intents and purposes until proven otherwise. Yo, man, how come you mapped out your order block on that BTC retest on a green candle instead of a red candle before the up move that is broken structure? Because a bearish order block is an up candle before a move lower. A bullish order block is a down candle before a move higher. This, you could argue, is a breaker, a down candle for an up move. It was supposed to be a bullish order block, but then it failed. One thing, once you really get deep into the ICT fucking Kool-Aid jug, is that order blocks, breakers, and fair value gaps, they all basically form like right the fuck on top of each other. Max Barnes, what percentage of your crypto is in, or your net worth is in crypto? 200%. So everything I own, all of my money is in crypto, and then I've borrowed against all of that and put it all back into crypto again. I'm 2x levered on my life. Yeah, I agree with Roy. What's up, G? Arthur has been hilariously wrong multiple fucking times. Sometimes he's right, but the broken clock is right twice a day adage works really well with Arthur. He gets shit wrong all the time, but he's a really good writer and he speaks very confidently. And I think sometimes people confuse that level of confidence and certainty with him knowing what he's talking about all the time. But people get shit wrong all the time. Look into cycle theory main. I love Bob Lucas. One of the most bullish scenarios is Bob Lucas is right, and we just put in a weekly cycle low. Listen, I'm one of the few people on Twitter who's been talking about the top not being in until Q4 of this year. So I'd be much happier if this continues to go up. Trust me. And I'd make way more money. What up, Folis? Yeah, what Folis says about order blocks is exactly correct. So this high time frame order block, in reality, is just a low time frame range, right? And you can see that very well here. That high time frame order block is just this range of price on the lower time frame. So because this is a bearish order block, right? This is really low time frame here. We just really have a distribution range, and we're now retesting that old range of distribution. That's why on the weekly chart, right, I had down here a retest of this old accumulation range as an area of potential support. Are you able to check Inge? Sure, John. I mean, there's just better looking charts, bro. Like, can this go up? Yeah, for sure. This absolutely can go up. It's got monthly demand, but it broke the low, did it? Swept the low on the monthly. So, like, this thing could be putting in a low. It absolutely could be putting in a low. You know, but there's some people who have been holding this coin from way higher who are praying to get out. So you've got to hope that maybe a bunch of them capitulated. So yeah, this thing could go up. I do think there's better looking altcoin charts than this one, but it's not the ugliest thing I've seen. It's on monthly support. A lot of altcoins are on like monthly and weekly support. Worst case Ontario, buddy. What do you think of ADA now that's part of the reserve? I don't really have an opinion on Cardano. I think Charles Hoskin is like an elite tier grifter. But the fact that he's grifted so hard that now lo and behold, ADA is part of the crypto strategic reserve. I mean, he's won. Like, who am I to talk shit anymore about it? So, I mean, I just don't like the coin. I think the community members are fucking annoying. And at the end of the day, like, it went up huge today. Like, I'm not trying to deny this thing had a 72% daily candle, okay? 72% daily candle. Ginormous. But it's still, like, if you bought this, right, you missed the entire bull run, basically. Like, the entire 2022. So the market's bottomed in November. This is the bottom of Bitcoin. Bitcoin was at 15K. It went to 108,000. Okay? This went from fucking 38 cents to $1.05, and it's only at $1.05 now because it went up 72% today. So this thing didn't even do a 3x, right? Like, didn't even do a 3x during the time that Bitcoin went from 15K to 108K. Bitcoin almost did a 10x. So you can imagine what Cardano Bitcoin looks like. Looks like shit. And I'm not saying that this can't go up, but if you had to pick one of these to hold, like, there's periods of time where Cardano outperforms Bitcoin. So, you know, but like, looking at this chart, does this chart look like it outperforms more or less? It outperforms, but over the long period of time, it underperforms, and it underperforms a whole lot more than it outperforms. So I'm not saying it can't go up, and maybe this changes things, and maybe we're going to see, you know, this thing is bottomed and it's going to fucking rip. But even last time that it did that, it ended up fully retracing the move, right? So maybe it does this, but, you know, over a long enough time frame, most of these coins just underperform Bitcoin itself. And if you were a Cardano fan all bull run and you're celebrating today because it went up 72%, keep in mind that Bitcoin did almost a 10x in the last 2.5 years, and you guys barely mustered a 3x. It's like, it's the same thing with ETH though. Like, can I even talk shit about Cardano when ETH went, let's see, ETH is up right now. ETH is up less than Cardano this cycle. So that's depressing. So if you think that this is a bearish retest, right, which it very well could be, what you should do is you want to go and look at the coins that have been the weakest against Bitcoin lately. So you want to look at coins and say, okay, well, if Bitcoin is bearish retesting, Sol is also putting in a bearish retest, this might be a better short. You know what I mean? So that's what you're trying to figure out right now. You're trying to say, okay, if you're a bear, you want to go and try and find this weakest coin that is going to pull back the hardest if we do correct. If you're a bull, you want to go try and find the strongest coin, and that's the one you want to long because it's going to outperform on the way up. Thanks, Woo Baby. Love you too, bro. Eric Trump just tweeted. What did he tweet? Did he say buy the dip again? I'm pretty sure if you bought the dip when he told you to buy the dip, you're underwater huge. Like, I'm pretty sure it was at like 2,900 or 3,100 when he told us to buy the dip the first time. So yeah, I mean, it's actually quite depressing that I just realized that ETH is underperforming Cardano. like it's got to be painful to be a fucking ETH head, bro. I'm so, like, I own some, but so last cycle, like, I heavily positioned in prior cycle coins. Sorry, not last cycle. Yes, last cycle I held a bunch of like older alts thinking they were going to do very well, and I underperformed Solana and, you know, all of these other new coins like DeFi stuff. And then this cycle I was like, hey, like ETH, I'm going to hold ETH. And luckily, I changed my weighting to more Bitcoin than ETH because I was quite heavy in ETH initially. And I'm glad I did because ETH has just been woefully bad. But yeah, like, dude, this has got to be painful. Like, if you're all in ETH and you're a .ETH and, like, this is what your chart looks like versus Cardano, for fuck's sakes. Look at XRP ETH, dude. Like, bro. Like, again, ETH crushes XRP for years and years and years and years and years. But the last year, dude, you're getting smoked by everything. I don't know what's underperformed. Like, what is ETH? A better question is anything outperforming ETH? Like, you could look at, like, I bet you PopCat ETH has outperformed PopCat probably recently. Yeah. So, like, but, like, even PopCat, dude, for a while, dude, was kicking the shit. Like, everything's been kicking the shit out of ETH, and you got to go find some god-awful meme coin, and those are the only things that ETH is outperforming, right? Because remember, think of this as ETH BTC. So if ETH BTC is going down, right, Bitcoin is stronger. So this is PopCat ETH. So if this is going down, ETH is stronger. But, like, right now, like, ETH was only stronger very briefly. Everything's been kicking the shit out of ETH, man. It's kind of depressing. Let's look at Trump. Sure. I didn't even think to look at Trump based on today's news. Looked like a bit of a nothing burger on Trump here. Like, here's the thing, dude. There's a chance that Trump never references this fucking coin again. That's, like, something you have to consider is a potential reality here. But looking at, like, the 3-day, this, to me, is a very significant level. This 1535 level. Like, that, to me, is the level to watch. It's confluent with this little breaker here. You get that over-under vibe, right? Over, under, back over. So if it can hold 1535, I think you're bullish, and you either cut on a close back below, or you just have your stop here, and you target like that. So there's a trade to be had here. Like, there's a trade to be had here for sure. And, like, that's not even terrible risk reward with the super loose stop. Like, this could be your hard stop, but you could have a soft stop on, like, a close below there. The division says if you don't have a breakout count, you should get one. I agree completely. You should buy a breakout account. We had massive, massive payouts today at Breakout. One of the most volatile days of the year. We had some people absolutely print. And guess what? Daily payouts still. No issue. I'll look at FWOG, but it's painful for me. So, like, a lot of these meme coins are kind of like basing, and you're like, oh, like, maybe the bottom's in, but, like, I don't know. But I'm like, my break even on this, full disclosure, is 250 mil. So it's like around there. So this thing has to do still like a 2.5x, right, for me to fucking get my money just to break even. So is it potentially bottomed? Could it be? Maybe. But it's just too early to tell, man. Like, I need to see a God candle on this thing. Like, this was a good candle. 75% candle. Like, that's awesome. But, like, really what's happening right now is we're just retesting this old accumulation here. Like, I need to see, like, a fucking bang and then get a retest, and then maybe we're back in business. But for now, I just don't know. Like, if you look at WIF, like, WIF is starting to look interesting again, right? But it's the same thing. Like, it's retesting old accumulation over here. It's potentially starting to base out. A little over-under action. Big old candle today. But it's still too early to tell. Like, this very easily can just roll the fuck over. So I need to see, like, some shit pop off. on these memes. And none of these are going to go up unless Bitcoin continues to go up. Because if Bitcoin fully retraces its moves, these things are fucked. Fart coin. Same thing. It's the exact same chart. This chart, PopCap, FWOG, they're all the exact same. They're retesting monthly demand. And on the low time frame, they're trying to put in some bullish price action. This probably has a pretty nice bull div here. Like that probably was a pretty good setup there. Bull div, 3 lows, 3 drives. There's probably, I guarantee on the RSI, there's a bullish divergence there. Yeah, right? Like bang. But that's kind of played out now. So we'll see. Pi. Get this ugly ass thing off my screen, boy. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of your first pullback, right? 40, 50% pullback into demand here. Like, let's see. This is where you want it to bounce if it's going to go up. So if it loses this, it probably comes down to here. And that's doesn't look very far, but that's another, 20% lower. Too early to tell, aka I'm ready to miss out with a condom on. Here, Jack, then buy, bro. Like if you've watched me for this long, by now, I'm not a meme coin guy. So if you are want to long memes and you think the bottom's in on memes, fucking long them, bro. I'm not trying to stop you. I think I said they're all on demand. They're all at support. So the risk reward to take a long here on a lot of those memes, it's absolutely there. It's just not really my game. I mean, tell us about your childhood. Well, where do we want to start? With the beatings? Just kidding. I had a very good childhood. I come from a big family. I was very lucky. Got a good family. I mean, technically, yes. All I do is look at meme coins all day. Desync or pin. Yes. I mean, a lot of these coins had really nice bounces. And again, they didn't make lower lows. So that's what's most interesting about them is this to me, right? So if you look at Bitcoin here, right? And we're, what time frame we're on here? Let's go to the 3-day. Okay, so February 6th, right? Look at this. This happened. This is here and here, right? So there's a clear divergence between a lot of these coins and Bitcoin. A lot of these coins held up surprisingly well versus Bitcoin. So now this looks okay. I mean, if this ends up being a sweep, that's kind of worrisome. But I would much rather see this come up to here. And then we see if it's a bearish retest of this old kind of consolidation price floor. And desync is very similar, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Where it held up significantly better than Bitcoin did on the dump. But this did make a lower low, but it definitely is not as ugly as this, right? But it's the same kind of idea here. Nice bounce. We're at weekly demand. Weekly demand. This is a weekly candle for sure. So it's interesting. Again, there's a lot of memes did this. So if you want to know what to long right now, if you're I think the bottom's in, it's time to long everything. Bitcoin did this. Okay? And some meme coins and altcoins did this. So the ones that made higher lows are the relatively stronger ones. And if the bottom is in and we're going to trade higher, these are the ones you want to be looking to long. John Benedict, Maine, have you ever thought about the U.S. government potentially taking ownership of the Ethereum Foundation? They also pardoned Ross, so could be some connection there. I mean, I think a fucking monkey with access to the internet and a Twitter account would probably be a better steward of the Ethereum Foundation than whoever is currently in charge over there. That being said, I have not thought about that at all. I have no fucking idea, to be completely honest with you. Mean, can we look at your neck but not touch? Just look, no touch. Yes. You can look as much as you want. If you want to look at it even more, go follow me on Instagram. You can just stare at it all day in the form of pictures. But absolutely do not touch it. What do you think of Bonk? I have a bag and I wish it would go up. Funny, Locust was posting Bearish this past week. Flip-flop. Here's the thing, dude. If you don't have the ability to flip-flop, you are not a trader. Like, anytime someone dunks on someone for going from bullish to bearish or bearish to bullish, I know that the person dunking on that guy is a retard and has never actually probably profitably traded in their life. Like, if you are only bullish and then someone gets bearish and then go bullish again and you go, you're a flip-flop and you were bearish, now you're bullish, you're an idiot. Like, just, you're an investor. I'm not going to be mean. Maybe you're not an idiot, but you're just a holder. You're not a trader, okay? Because traders, our bias changes based on the chart. The charts just yesterday looked much more bearish than they do today. So there's been a change in information. There's new information. Therefore, you might have to change your bias and the decisions you make. But if you just want to hold and be bullish all the time, by all means, do it. But trying to dunk on someone for flipping between bullish and bearish just tells me that you don't actually trade. And you don't have to. I actually think most people shouldn't trade. You're way better off just buying and holding than you are trying to outperform the market. Absolutely. But it's not a dunk to be like, that person was bearish and now they're bullish. I get that it's fun to do, right? But like, in reality, when something like today happens, there's new information. So like, yeah, you should be reconsidering your bias. I'm doing it in this video. I told you guys that if we bounce, I want to short. And now I'm not sure because of based on how the candle happened and the news. So I'm redetermining what my bias is. I'm flip-flopping live on stream. XRP has an SMT div with Bitcoin. I'm sure a lot of stuff does. Doge BTC, sure. This is such a funny chart, dude. Like, the fact that this thing is just like even a thing is just so good. It's just so good. Like, do you know how much fucking Dogecoin I used to have? You know how much Ripple I used to have, dude? I used to own Ripple when it was like 0.000 fucking 1. Like, it was worth nothing, dude. I had so much. Ugh, imagine if I just never... If I never learned how to fucking sell or trade or anything and I just held all the crypto I had back in 2013, 2014. Oh my God. Oh my God. And that's a perfect microcosm for what I was just describing about like most people shouldn't trade. Like, dude, like I would have so much more money if I fucking never discovered leverage trading. Oh my God. Like, the idea, the thinking that you can outperform the market consistently, it's hilarious. Yeah, Doge is on support. Doge BTC is on support. Garrett says, how do you balance monthly versus weekly candle differences? It's Feb's locked in such a shitty candle. That's the thing, right? So it's a very tricky game because one, the monthly candle is more important than the weekly candle. However, the trend will change on the lower time frame first. So if the monthly, right? So the monthly candle, we really want to see the monthly candle reclaim there, right? But the month just started. We got 28 days left, 29 days left in the month. So a lot can happen in this monthly candle. But if it's able to close above here, it's now reclaimed that level. But the clues of whether or not it's going to reclaim that level or not are going to be apparent on the low time frame first. You can see the exact same thing here. Closed below the monthly, reclaimed it the next month, but the clues are going to be on the low time frame first. So in short, it's very tricky. I put more weight on the high time frame than I do the low time frame. So with that said, I've got to assume that, like, okay, the monthly lost support, and unless we start reclaiming that level, I got to assume that this potentially could be just a bearish retest, right? Like, that's what's tricky. The weekly's giving me mixed signals. The 3-day, if the weekly would have just closed as an MSB, the monthly, the weekly, and the 3-day would all be aligned, and it's like 10 out of 10 short this thing into the fucking ground. The buy stuff is all true, but Blunts for weeks was typing hard OT positions, multiple retweets of I called top, we're going higher, etc. Yeah, but I mean, again, like, you don't know what he's doing. Like, what if he was long and then he shorted and then he longed again? Like, you don't actually know. So, like, just make your own decisions. Like, that's always the easiest solution. Most of the time, people dunking on other people, like, they have no idea what's going on. They're not making their own decisions. They're losing money. Like, you have no clue what someone's doing, right? Like, there's obviously people who are really good traders and they make money, and you want to dunk on people who are wrong. Like, I get it. I dunk on people all the time. Welcome to half of my stream. I love dunking on people. But for the average person, right, for you guys who are trying to learn, who are trying to make money, I'm telling you, trying to dunk on someone or trying to make your decisions based on what someone else has said is not going to help you make money. You're way better off learning to make your own decisions. Once you make your own decisions and you trade however you want to trade and you're making money, by all means, talk shit to everyone else. Go for it. Anyone who disagrees with you, go for it and talk shit. But remember, but at least know that, you know, you don't know what that person's doing or whether or not they're actually making money. All that matters is if you are. So if Keyboard Monkey flip-flops 100 times, that affects you 0. You know what I mean? Same with the Blunts or whoever. Bro, is there no comparison to April 2021 break of structure? Absolutely there is. Absolutely there is. Break of structure, retest like this. There's a very good chance that we are like this right now. That would be catastrophic. The difference is, I guess, right, is the weekly candle. Yeah, I guess this weekly candle kind of closed as a sweep initially as well. So, I mean, I don't know. That, like, the only reason I'm not like, oh, this is a 1-to-1 is because this weekly wick looks nuts. But the 3-day chart, it looks very similar, right? Like, this is your lower high territory. And that's why I've been saying, like, if this is going lower, this is exactly where the lower high should form. So, tricky fucking spot. Where's Nick? Who is Nick? Main to man. Yeah, I mean, Blunts, there you go. Blunts is one of the top traders on Bybit. So, flip-flop all he wants. It's clearly whatever he's doing is working for him, right? And I think a lot of people waste their time and energy focusing on what other people are doing instead of just their own trades, bro. Like, you're here to make money. Anyways, guys, I gotta go have dinner, and yeah, so I'm gonna log off here. But this is exactly what we were talking about from the last stream. We're expecting a bounce. We're expecting a move up into here. It looks like a bearish retest until proven otherwise. So I'm short biased here where we are right now. Like, I would not long here personally. I think this looks like a bearish retest. It smells like a bearish retest. I'm going to assume it is a bearish retest. That being said, because I want to believe in something, if we get a move back down and fill some of this inefficiency, I would be willing to take a long to see if we can put in a higher low. Okay? So that's my plan right now. This is where we should reject from. I'm not interested in longing right here. I want to see how the actual market opens up tomorrow morning. Okay? I would be willing to take a long down here if we get a retest. And if you are bullish or bearish, what you need to be looking for right now is what coins made lower lows and what coins made higher lows. Because if you're shorting, the coins that made higher lows are going to be stronger, so they're not going to dump as hard. Right? And if you're longing the coins that made higher lows relative to Bitcoin, this is Bitcoin and this is your altcoin. And if you're longing, the altcoins that made higher lows are going to offer probably a better bounce. All right, guys? So I hope you enjoyed. Hope everyone has a fantastic Sunday. I'll talk to you guys all tomorrow in Telegram, on Twitter. Make sure you're checking out all my shit in the description. Breakout, The Haven, free Telegram, Instagram, TikTok. I'm trying to be everywhere. All right, guys? Love you all. Talk to you soon.